America, the finest physically and mentally in the entire world. Opportunity is offered them today as never before in the history of mankind. Opportunity for the fulfillment of hopes, dreams, ambitions. And with the vastness of opportunity offered, what are the ambitions of the youth of America? What of Bill, whose main interest is mechanical drawing? What's your ambition, young fellow?
I'm going to be a construction engineer. Build great modern skyscrapers, design factories, plan complete new communities.
Skyscrapers, factories, cities. An engineer. An engineer must have good eyesight, a steady hand, steady nerves. He must have the mental creativeness that emanates from physical well-being. And physical well-being, Bill, is attained only through good living habits.
Upon a solid foundation. Until we have solved the lower, we cannot pass to something higher. Assuming we have regulated the body, that we have given it all that it needs, but never for a moment sacrificed its well-being for some other purpose of our own, unless that sacrifice is justified by moral expediency, by the need to give something beyond our normal. The individual who gives their life to save another life has not disfigured the body. They have given it to a purpose that is higher. That which is higher is always the basis of the realities and the right values of things. But assuming that we now live simply, that we are not subject to extravagances, that we are not dissipated, and that the body is not disturbed by any external situation. That the body is not working for something, not working for something that is worthwhile. That it is supporting an extravagance of the mind and not the need of its own integrities. So the body being settled, we pass to the second level, assuming that the body has now been disciplined as the first step of discipleship. The energy fields of vital body, etheric double of the physical, is the source of our supply of life force. It is that which animates all things and makes them alive. This aliveness is primarily turned downward. It is the aliveness, the vitality, which protects the body and makes it capable of receiving into itself stress and strain from higher causes within its own structure. Now, the vital body being an energy field, the individual who wishes to advance in spiritual matters must reduce energy pressures. They must not waste energy, because energy is life, and life is the power of God in us. Therefore, energy must be conserved. Energy must be distributed properly. We come almost under a heading of physical culture. We have to see that the energy field is given ample opportunity to express itself constructively, but that any intemperance which wastes energy becomes a leakage in the energy field. And through this leakage it escapes and is not available for reasonable purposes. Energy to be maintained must have proper nutrition. It must have proper rest and relaxation. It must be energized by a physical body that is temperate and therefore does not waste or destroy energy. Energy cannot live unless the physical body is reasonably ordered. If it is reasonably ordered, then it can provide a proper footing for energy growth. But if the individual suddenly gets into a temper fit, the waste of energy damages both the vital body and the physical. The individual in hysteria, the person who is constantly a neurotic, the individual who starts worshiping energy waste, doing things that are not significant and not important. All energy is to be used for constructive purposes, in order that energy, which is life, a part of which has been given to us, will be used as it was intended to be used. for the greater good of all that lives. All energy which has not some justification in value becomes a dangerous factor in our composition.
Be still now. I am with you. I am deep within you. You are at peace. You cannot be harmed. You will not suffer. Breathe deeply. Breathe in the healing love of the universe, and breathe out the sickness which has taken you. I am with you.
Of course, there are a few different kinds of interpretations and many different ideas that are connected to those notions other than just the popular ones, shall we?
Would you like to explain?
Well, there are a few different things we can share. One thing we have already told many of you is that the threshold that you call 2012 is simply the leading edge of the collective consciousness crossing critical mass threshold. The idea being that on the other side of that particular moment in time, there will be more positive momentum on the planet than negative. You follow me? And so, the way in which you experience this transition again is really up to you. Please remember, there are an infinite number of parallel realities all going on simultaneously. It's not in a sense that you actually change the world you are in. It's that you change your frequency to be like that of the world you prefer to experience, and then experience that parallel Earth that already exists on that level. It may look as if everything around you has changed, but in fact, it's you that have changed, and in a sense have shifted yourself to a world in which there already exist the versions of the other people that are germane to that world, that are on the same frequency of that world. Those that are not on that frequency will no longer appear in your reality. They will simply vanish from your life one way or another. As time goes on, even though right now you are still in a collective agreement that allows you to experience many people who have belief systems that are very different from your own, maybe even very incompatible with the frequency that you prefer, in time, this will no longer be possible. The idea will be that those people will simply phase out of your reality. They will remain in the reality in which their frequency is appropriate. And you will have vanished from their reality. I wonder whatever happened to
So energy enables us to do all kinds of useful things. It also will support us in extreme hardships in many cases. But it cannot stand or survive misdirection from below or wrong attention from above. It must be given the care and discipline necessary. Energy discipline involves one important factor: quietude. Quietude means that the human body must at certain times rest. If the energy does not remove its pressures from the body, then the body cannot rest, and the least we can expect is vigilance, and they are no good either. The individual who can't sit still, who can't keep quiet, who finds it impossible to do simple things in a simple and efficient manner. The individual has to exaggerate all actions, and finding themselves highly nervous, must take sedation. This type of thing is deadly to the development of any higher faculty. If the individual wishes to remain on the level in which these things are done, he has the right. No one can take it from him. But if he wants to be better than he is now, he must correct the mistakes that burden him now. He must have motives, purposes, and ideals stronger and better than those which he has been nursing in the past. So he does everything possible to use energy wisely. He may feel that it is an eternal factor, that he will always have it, but he will find that this is a mistake. If he wastes it, he will not always have it. The body is itself a fallible thing, and to make it useful, helpful, and constructive as long as possible, its essential resources must be conserved. One of the physical forces and sources of energy is nutrition. So this comes into this factor. Proper nutrition. Nutrition that is not fatty. Nutrition that is based upon, as far as possible, a full understanding of the requirements of the body and its nervous structure. Nutrition is very important because without it, the individual has no foundation upon which to build. Therefore, the first problem is to get the body into physical condition that is suitable to become a living temple. The second step of the problem is to create within this living temple an atmosphere of divine presence, the energy being the presence of the infinite within the structure of the finite. This then, if it is accomplished, if the individual finds that he is able to make these corrections and never waste energy, wasting energy can be simply the support of a poor cause. It can be talking too much when there's nothing to say. It can be almost anything. On the other hand, the loss of these wastefulness factors should never result in a dourful personality. The energy factors that are constructive are pleasant, more pleasant in the long run than those which cause trouble. But then we rise to the third level, and this is a rough one of the most difficult to face, and not to be faced at all, unless the lower two have already been conquered. You cannot advance unless you're on a solid foundation of what goes before. Otherwise, you're in trouble. The energy factor we have to have, and one of the great uses of energy, of course, is emotion. Now, the emotional factor is where, in most cases, the human being is oriented. He lives in a combination of vital, emotional, and physical factors. And as long as this continues, he is basically a biped, but still not raised to human estate. The energy fields that involve emotion must be cleansed and purified. Emotions must be free of all negative, toxic attitudes. This is where most people fall down. I know we have cases constantly of people who are trying.
Close your eyes and begin to breathe slowly and deeply. With each breath, let your body soften and relax. Breathe and let the sounds and words wash away all concerns. The ideas you are about to hear will become your own. You will begin to think thoughts that promote an inexhaustible supply of prosperity, health, and happiness in your life. You will discover that the secret power within you can help you do